Dubai and Cyprus are the solution because contrary to a 40 or 60% cumulative tax that the business might pay in Belgium, in Canada, or even in Germany, and of course the UK, these two countries, Cyprus and Dubai, offer a fraction of these taxes.
I've had people come to me over the past few years with millions in Bitcoin that they haven't extracted, that they bought like even 10 years ago, and they are traveling to Cyprus and they fly to Dubai and they try to figure it out on their own.
On the other hand, Dubai is more crypto friendly. Even the national bank is allowing people to exchange cryptos.
Okay.
But again, because I'm heavily dealing with this industry, whatever we say in this podcast, by the time you listen to it, things could change. So before you make a decision whether to go to Dubai or Cyprus, the number one question that you need to resolve, besides the taxes, which are similar in these cases, so we're talking about 12.5% versus 9%, is whether or not you can open a corporate account either in UAE or in Cyprus.
Seaside cities, you see people walking around in
the millionaires don't care about the age.
Flip-flops, and we make fun of it a bit as well. It's like the new rich in Cyprus who show off too much,
or
even
the wannabes,
Russians and the wannabes. The rest, the millionaires that I know, you can't even tell.
They're with flip-flops and shorts.
Yes, even when they go to the office. But in Dubai, you are expected to have a certain look and to wear certain things to be taken seriously.
Cyprus, as you've mentioned correctly, is more European oriented, okay? Because it's a European country. So for some operations and for some businesses, it's very important to have the European flag on your company.
If you're a founder, investor, or high earner thinking about relocating for tax and lifestyle benefits in 2025, there are two destinations everyone's talking about right now: Dubai and Cyprus. On one hand, Dubai is a futuristic playground with zero income tax and access to global markets. On the other side, Cyprus offers powerful tax incentives, EU residency, non-dom status, a thriving economy within the European Union, a strategic location between three continents, and that sweet Mediterranean lifestyle. But which one is right for you? In this episode, we're breaking down tax residency, relocation costs, lifestyle, business setups, and real risks of moving to Dubai versus Cyprus so that you can make an educated decision for your next move. I'm Pavlina Papalouka, branding strategist and business relocation consultant, bringing to you this episode in collaboration with FinHub, Cyprus's #1 platform for international relocation, tax strategy, immigration, residency, and trusted expert connections. And I'm joined by Cyprus-based tax expert Kyriakos Tramountanellis, who has helped clients relocate to both Cyprus and Dubai through his companies in both countries, so he brings a unique insight into what's really happening on the ground from real-life case studies. Kyriakos, let's start with the big picture. What's driving thousands of entrepreneurs from the UK, from Europe, from Russia even, to relocate to Cyprus or Dubai, and why are these two jurisdictions so hot in 2025?
I think the main reason that these international investors and entrepreneurs are relocating to Dubai or, of course, Cyprus is primarily the high taxes enforced by the countries you've mentioned. And these are not the only countries. Germany is the same, Belgium is the same, Canada is the same. So I believe we are seeing a global failure in politics where the easy solution is to tax their entrepreneurs, their business people. And of course, these business people who have the brains, they are exiting these countries and they're looking for better alternatives. Dubai and Cyprus are the solution because contrary to a 40 or 60% cumulative tax that the business might pay in Belgium, in Canada, or even in Germany, and of course the UK, these two countries, Cyprus and Dubai, offer a fraction of these taxes. So let's dive in and let's look at the mechanics and the details of these two countries.
What I want to add is that entrepreneurs, especially after the pandemic, they realized that they can work remotely.
Of course.
And they're now looking for improved lifestyle, improved weather conditions. If they have the money, if they have created the wealth, now they're looking for better lifestyle. And that's why Cyprus has seen increase, especially from EU countries. UK has seen the exit of more than 12,000 business owners in the last year alone. And a lot of them go to Dubai. A lot of them come to Cyprus. And we have other countries as well we analyzed in the previous episode. And also, we have these new crypto millionaires. And Dubai has seen an increase in those. So we're going to go into the taxes to compare. Because if somebody is looking at us right now and they still haven't made a decision, or they have been to Dubai, they have been to Cyprus, but they haven't lived there, or they haven't dived into the taxes and the cost of living and business setup, they wouldn't know. And a lot of times they move and then they are surprised, especially in jurisdictions like Dubai, where maybe there are
beast. It's a different beast of its own.
So we're going to analyze in this episode all the levels. Let's start with the numbers and the tax differences.
Of course.
So if we would start with the corporate tax differences, personal tax differences, the non-dom status, VAT, double tax treaties, all these things, you're the expert.
Of course. Now, we have the experience because we also have a regulated audit and assurance firm in the UAE, so we can talk from experience. And the differences are the following, of course. In Cyprus, corporation tax is 12.5% flat, whilst in the UAE, in the entire UAE, we're talking about Dubai now, but the taxes apply in all the Emirates, is 9%. Of course, if you are a nano business or if you are a small business who operates there, and you're making less than the local currency of 375,000, then of course you will not be taxed. But bigger companies, bigger corporations are taxed usually at 9%. Of course, there are several exemptions which you need to discuss with your tax expert in order to see whether your income is taxable or not. Which is similar to Cyprus, of course, because the 12.5% applies to most activities, but there are activities that are entirely tax-free. So you will not pay any taxes even if you make millions, and that is, of course, trading of securities. And the reason why Cyprus has so many investors and traders residing and changing their tax structures and, of course, their tax status. Let's move on now to the dividend tax and to the payroll tax, which is very important. In Cyprus, all the investors who are coming from abroad usually pay 0% dividend tax because of the Cyprus non-dom tax scheme. In Dubai and in the rest of the UAE, there is no salary tax enforced to anyone. It is the culture there. It is the notion that if you're working somewhere and you're receiving a salary, the emirate will not tax you. So this is a very good tax planning point because even if you have a company, you can have salaries which reduce the profits, of course, as long as everything is at arm's length and reasonable. VAT, of course, applies to both jurisdictions. In Cyprus, as you would imagine, because we are an EU member state, the VAT is high, is 19%, whilst in Dubai and the UAE, of course, is 5%. Like the rest of Europe, VAT in the UAE has different activities and applies differently to different services and products. So the 5% might not apply to you depending on the activities you are performing. It's a similar progressive VAT application like the rest of Europe. It's not a flat number that applies to all the activities. Okay? It's like the UK, it's like Cyprus, it's like any other EU member state. There is no notion, of course, of non-domicile in the UAE because simply nobody gets taxed at personal level. And Pavlina, at this point, it's very important to say something that I don't see it written enough or spoken out enough. The UAE has the notion of a sole trader. So yes, personal income tax is 0, but if you are trading as a person, yes, and you are not a salary,
stocks or anything, just trading.
Anything. So if you're not using a company and you're not using a vehicle, which is the company to trade, and you're trading as an individual. Maybe you're selling shoes, maybe you're selling phones, maybe you're repairing stuff.
What if you're trading crypto and stocks?
It's the same. You will be considered as a sole trader.
So not as an individual.
Exactly.
So
you're
then,
not a salaried person, so you will be taxed.
how much?
As the company.
9%.
Yes. Of course, the exceptions that apply to the company also apply to the individuals. So the nano companies do not pay taxes if certain activities outside the UAE are not taxable. But what I want to stress out is that the zero tax applies to salaried persons.
I want to make a point here.
Not to someone who is trading and not using a company.
So let's...
it's very important. Yes?
Yeah, let's stand on this example with the crypto millionaires and the dividends from stocks. In Cyprus, we have the non-dom status.
Of course.
But many of these crypto millionaires, they move to Dubai because they think it's going to be 0% tax. Whoever, they need to set up a company as a sole trader and they need to... No?
They can trade without the company, but it is likely that they are subject to tax.
Likely? What does that mean, likely?
Dubai is progressive. So at the time of this podcast, we know that they are taxed at the enforceable tax rate. But
9%.
Yes, but because Dubai changes the regulations every 6 months, it makes things better, it applies better policies, processes throughout the government, throughout the tax system, throughout the VAT system. Whether you are captured by tax or not, you need to speak with a tax expert at the time of the need.
So if you
cannot take things for granted. It's not like Cyprus that we have fixed corporate tax, fixed VAT. The laws are there. The application of the law has been the same for 20 years. And maybe every 10 years we change a bit the rate of corporate tax or we move something. In Dubai and in the UAE, things are progressive, they are moving.
So there is not so much stability with regards to what you will find next year with regards to taxes and legislation. So you need to be more alert,
of course.
Have great accountants, great tax experts, maybe lawyers, so that you do everything properly because it's also a very tough jurisdiction. You don't know where you're going to end up if something goes wrong. Cyprus, I guess we can't say freely that it's better for people trading within the EU because we are a more stable economy. We're regulated by the European Union. So if you're doing business within the EU, then it's a more stable economy for you.
The EU directives apply to all the member states. You have the DAX 6 application. You have the OECD model that we apply. You have, of course, the CRS. And any other protective, let's say, mechanism, either at tax level or at the civilian level.
And banking level.
Yeah, at banking, in all levels to protect the consumers. Of course, having said that, since we're mentioning it, it's worth mentioning that since 2019, the UAE and Dubai, of course, is not in any blacklist. So why they are not in any blacklist is because, of course, they are also applying these directives to the extent possible. That's why things, as you mentioned, are getting a bit stricter over time.
So what about double tax treaties? Because you said they're not on any blacklists, and this is important, the differences between Cyprus and Dubai.
The double tax treaties are treaties between contracting member states or states to ensure that a businessman does not pay high taxes, that does not double pay taxes. Cyprus has more than 65 double tax treaties, okay, and Dubai has more than 140, I believe, or 150 double tax treaties. They started focusing on the neighboring countries, the Gulf countries, and of course they created many double tax treaties with the European member states.
So it's quite similar, you would say, not many differences there.
It's similar, of course.
Okay.
Each tax treaty, so that the audience can understand, it's important to understand the purpose of a tax treaty and not the details per se, because the details for this podcast. Of course, depending on the two countries who are...
It's a hot topic because of Trump now. He is enforcing all these taxes. So everyone is forced now to think, even the clothes I'm buying from China now are going to be taxed in the US differently. So everyone now is realizing that this is something important, not only if you have a business, but as an individual,
a very good point,
if you want to order anything from outside your country.
But the double tax treaties, they are not so much concerned on the purchasing of products or services. They are concerned on distribution of the profits, whether that is in the form of loans, profits, dividends, taxable income results from a company or an operation you have anywhere in the world, and you will be taxed a certain amount. These double tax treaties make sure that that specific income stream or profit stream, which was taxed somewhere else, how will it be taxed at your company's tax residency country or the place where your country is being established. If you are taxed 10% in Germany, for instance, for a branch that you have, will these profits be taxed also in Cyprus since you pay 10%, let's say, in Germany? This is what the double tax treaties say. And even if you don't have companies, you are individual, if you have operations anywhere in the world and you are taxed, how will the home country where you have your tax residency will tax those profits? Will it tax them? At which rate? So this is the focus of the double tax treaties.
Okay. And what about audit and transparency, like yearly accounts? What are the differences between Dubai and Cyprus? Because these are some standard expenses that you need to pay every year as a business owner. In Cyprus, we have a certain amount that somebody should expect to pay every year to their accountant to do the audit services. So can you compare those expenses?
I'm going to start with the requirements, with the filing requirements. Both in Cyprus and in Dubai, there is a need to prepare accounts, file accounts, and of course prepare the audits if you exceed a certain threshold. Now, the reason why Dubai, as I've mentioned earlier on, was removed from the blacklist is because of what you correctly said. This transparency that is required by the Emirates is enforced to all the businesses. That's why they were removed from the blacklists. So the banking needs to know who you are, and the state needs to know what you do, how you do it. That's why an audit is required. That's why you are required to pay taxes and to be serviced by professional service providers. The prices, as you would expect, are a bit more expensive in Dubai than in Cyprus. Of course, we need to compare apples with apples because you are buying a service when you're hiring an accountant, an auditor, or a tax expert. You are acquiring a service for a specific operation. That operation could be very small, could be very big. It could be a trivial operation, so the fees could vary from 2,000 to 30,000. So it depends what we're talking about. As a rule of thumb, it's good for our audience to know that in the UAE, these costs are a bit 30% higher than in Cyprus. So if you have a small business, let's say, that makes $500,000 in turnover, the maintenance of the company could be costing you $5,000 altogether.
In Dubai?
In Cyprus.
In Cyprus.
Yes,
and
accounting,
Dubai?
audit, tax. In Dubai, it could be costing you $8,000 or $10,000. It depends, again, from the service provider who is servicing you. And how risky your operation is, how well your communication is, and how big the volume of transaction is.
We will go into the costs in the next question. I just want to make a hot topic question. Let's say you are a crypto millionaire, meaning that you have been buying crypto, let's say Bitcoin, you haven't been selling it, you have accumulated profits and you want to sell your Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies and monetize it, but you don't want to do it inside your country because you're going to be taxed heavily. Where would you tell them to go, Cyprus or Dubai?
Both countries are a good option.
Difference?
There are many differences. In Cyprus, if you make profits as an individual, unfortunately, you will be taxed at the personal rate, which usually is more than 35%, because the profits from cryptos are significant. They are more than 60,000 euros.
So over €18,500, you start to get taxed. So if you have significant profits, then you start a company.
Bravo. It's best to use a company. Of course, as I've mentioned in many other videos, the trick with setting up a Cyprus company is that this Cyprus company needs to create the wealth itself and then make the profits itself. You cannot just move the profits from the personal actions to the company, because that's a tax point and you will be taxed as a person. So the ideal scenario for Cyprus is, of course, to inject capital in a company. With that capital, the company buys the cryptos and does all the trading.
Okay.
That's how.
So there is a workaround. Yes.
Always with tax matters, there is planning, consideration, and structure before you act. So let's close Cyprus. So you can be paying only 12.5%, even lower, on your crypto taxes and zero dividend tax when you take the profits from the company. But the golden nugget here is, of course, that first you move the money, the fiat money, into the company. Then that company buys the cryptos, exchange them, make profits, and that profit will get back to you.
So you might have to sell your crypto slowly if it's a lot of money you want to extract.
As a person, yes.
And I want to say...
There's another very important point that I need to mention, because we have many clients dealing with this matter from all over the world. It's very hard to find a bank globally. It's not impossible, because we have clients that have a bank, but most clients fail. It's very hard to have a corporate bank account that accepts cryptos. And that is a bank account for a company, a corporate bank account.
So you need the right payment provider. We have a lot of them in Cyprus because we have high-risk industries.
Yes.
And it's a base for these high-risk industries. But I guess you would want to hire a lawyer accountant that deals exactly with these issues. There are expert companies in Cyprus.
Of course.
We do have some of them, the top ones on FinHub.
Of course.
I want to say that for anyone watching, if they're wondering, okay, I need to talk to somebody.
Of course.
I've had people come to me over the past few years with millions in Bitcoin that they haven't extracted, that they bought like even 10 years ago. And they are traveling to Cyprus and they fly to Dubai and they try to figure it out on their own. So now we have FinHub, this platform, finhub.com.cy. You go there, you place a code, you place your request that I have this amount of crypto to extract. I'm from this country. Then you will get codes from verified, certified experts, the biggest companies in the market that are credible, that have big teams, that deal with a lot of clients like you. Then you get a codes and you compare the codes as well. And then you can proceed. And of course, you can get codes from Dubai as well.
The lovely thing about FinHub is that you select the expertise of the service provider. So you need to select, I want them to be specialized in cryptocurrencies, for instance. So you will only receive relevant codes from either audit and assurance firm or big corporate law firms or whichever size that specialize in this. On the other hand, Dubai is more crypto friendly. Even the National Bank is allowing people to exchange cryptos. But again, because I'm heavily dealing with this industry, whatever we say in this podcast, by the time you listen to it, things could change. So before you make a decision whether to go to Dubai or Cyprus, the number one question that you need to resolve, besides the taxes, which are similar in these cases, so we're talking about 12.5% versus 9%, is whether or not you can open a corporate account either in UAE or in Cyprus or anywhere else in the world, because you can use a Cyprus company and be taxed at 12.5%. Of course, have a corporate account anywhere in the world. It doesn't have to be a Cyprus bank, because Cyprus banks simply will not open you a bank account that deals with cryptos. It's the same case with the UAE and with Dubai free zones companies. You need to know for sure whether you can open a corporate bank account for your free zone company there in the UAE or anywhere else in the world for that matter. So this is a common issue that all the traders have, and that's why we're mentioning it here.
Okay, so let's move on to corporate structures, because if somebody wants to set up the company in Cyprus or Dubai for tax purposes, of course, there are different structures of companies in each country. Cyprus is more simple, straightforward, and Dubai has different structures. Can you get a little bit more into that?
Yes. Cyprus, like the UK and the majority of European countries, I would say, has two main company types. The limited by shares company, which is used by, I would say, 95% of all the business owners, and the public companies, which are the companies which are listed in the stock exchange. So when we're talking about creating a Cyprus company, it's really one kind of company, and it's limited by shares. In the past, they used to have Cyprus companies limited by guarantees, or they used to use partnerships, but as we are becoming more modern, the people are becoming more modern, nobody uses these setups, so we have only one type of company. Now, in the UAE, of course, we have many offshore companies, more than 45 offshore jurisdictions. We have financial centers like the DIFC, the ADGM, and of course, we have offshore jurisdictions. So Dubai is more thought of and streamlined than Cyprus in terms of, if you want to do a specific activity and you want to service specific clients and you are from a specific background, then we or service providers, you can either by FinHub or by the UAE, if you do your own research and you find your own service providers, will guide you as to which company type better suits you. Because in the UAE, it's important to understand that the free zones, we're talking about free zones primarily because all the internationals are using free zones. It's cheaper, faster, they can own 100% of the shares and many other characteristics, are geographical locations within the UAE. That's what literally a free zone means. And these geographical locations have different laws and applications as to the corporate structure of the companies and what each company is allowed to do. Similarly, banking has to tie in with the activities of the company and has to tie in with the UBO, the origin of the UBO, the passport, from which country they are, and why they want to come and do business in the UAE. That's why the selection for the UAE company is a bit more complex than Cyprus, because you need to know what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and the advisors there, they will navigate which free zones are appropriate for you.
Okay.
At this point, I would like to also stress that if you are a big insurance company and bank, a huge corporation, a multinational, then there is the DIFC, Dubai International Financial Center, is where all heavily regulated industries reside, because of course, if you are a complex company or a company that acts on behalf of many consumers, you need to be regulated, and that's the jurisdiction that's the financial center that you go and establish. Similarly, in Abu Dhabi, the equivalent of the DIFC is the ADGM. So these are mainly the main categories. Of course, there are some offshore choices as well, primarily for asset protection and for keeping up of shares and holding structures. But when someone is considering relocating to the UAE and Dubai primarily, or Abu Dhabi, the main company type is a free zone because it's cheaper, it's faster, is less regulated, and it enables you to hold most of the free zones, enable you to have 100% ownership of the shares. Okay, the other places I've just mentioned, they are more complex, more heavily regulated, so you need to be of a certain business sector to go there. Insurance companies, a multinational, and bank, advisory, but a huge advisory, or something to do with consumers.
With regards to company structures,
yes,
who would you say Cyprus is more welcoming to, and who would you say Dubai is more welcoming to, if there is such a thing? So in Cyprus, we have a lot of investment firms, we have service providers, we have all these big trading companies, Forex. In Dubai, there are a lot of crypto people, tech startups. So What would you say is?
We are comparing two different packages that service two different clientele. Okay, Cyprus, as you've mentioned correctly, is more European oriented, okay, because it's a European country. So for some operations and for some businesses, it's very important to have the European flag on your company, especially if you're trading within Europe. Okay? Now, the Dubai companies are more skewed towards the Middle East services outside of Dubai, outside of the UAE, and of course, they are skewed for maybe people who want to do activities either in the UAE or to have a proximity in the Gulf area. Now, let's not forget that Saudi Arabia now is growing. The Gulf countries are also growing. So the geographical proximity is important for many businesses depending on what they're doing. Having said that, entrepreneurs, tech people, people who are providing services, online people, traders of cryptos, people who are mobile and who can work just with a laptop or with a small team, both jurisdictions can tailor their needs in terms of operations. So let's put the tick there for these mobile people, but then you need to see, is the lifestyle important for me and what kind of lifestyle do I need? And of course, the living costs, because it's worth mentioning that these two jurisdictions, one of them is much cheaper than the other.
Okay.
One of them is skewed towards millionaires, billionaires, and the other one, especially with Limassol, is driven and it attracts lots of new money, Russian money, but we're not talking about hundreds of millions of money. We're talking about millionaires in the class of 1 to 50 million. Why is Dubai?
That want to have a more relaxed lifestyle and a different quality of life with nice beaches and Mediterranean lifestyle. And I would say, I think it's important to say to everyone who is watching, because I've seen this happening a lot. You are watching us on YouTube, so of course you are getting educated through YouTube, and that's great. However, your case is specific. So go and talk to the experts in each country, get quotes, find top experts who know about your industry and about your specific situation. They have a track record, and then decide. Don't just educate yourself through YouTube videos alone. Go book a consultation, get a quote, and talk to the experts, and then make a decision.
This is a common trap. Even yesterday,
all the time.
I had a nice discussion with two doctors from Belgium. They wanted to relocate to Cyprus. They read a lot of things in the internet. They were almost ready to shoot the trigger and create a company here, become non-dom. And then at our meeting, it slowly unveiled that they're having a family, they're going to have a child, they're going to raise a child in Belgium, of course. So how could one of them change their tax residency and become a Cypriot if she's going to be a mom and she's going to have a family in Belgium? I mean, tax planning, the God is in the details, like everywhere, and each case is totally different from another, and you need tax experts. It's not black and white, and you need tax experts to thoroughly understand your circumstances, analyze them, and based on the current tax available applications, decide which route is best for you.
It's let's say an investment. I'm not going to say expense.
You cannot become a doctor by watching
you
YouTube.
Need to make. Yes. I mean, some people will.
Some people will try to do some operations, but would you want to be their patient?
No, of course not. So it's an investment you need to make for peace of mind. And we see this with some people who relocate to Cyprus even, and they haven't done their accounting properly in their countries, and then they get in trouble. They try to do it on their own, even if they're millionaires, and try to save money because they think, oh, I'm going to pay too much money to these accountants and lawyers.
Which is something that annoys me a lot, because accountants in Cyprus, and I would say in the UAE as well, they are not so expensive to even have this discussion. And it's a pity that people don't appreciate how hard that specific work is. To be a qualified chartered accountant, you sacrifice many years and the expertise, and they are the toughest exams in the world. the toughest professional exams in the world. So if things were easy, why would we spend so much time studying and
the
working?
exams. Kyriakos spent 5 years working in London. Then he came to Cyprus, started his company, has worked with numerous clients, went to Dubai, started another company.
And we're constantly learning.
For, the experience, not just, the set amount that Kyriakos charges, because more or less in Cyprus, people charge the same. It's such a funny story, the story of this German, which I hear very often. It just stuck to my mind because Germans are very, let's say, afraid of taxes and expenses because of the system in Germany and how they are treated. And he was trying to set up companies on his own in different countries. The tax authorities in Germany went after him. He fled to Cyprus, extracted some of the money, took the money and bought villas. He didn't do the accounting properly. He got a knock on the door. We talked about this case because it's quite funny. The guy was telling me the story at a seminar. I understand that you might have a fear of taxes and accountants, but make an educated decision and don't try to educate yourself through YouTube, because we see it all the time. They do relocate and then they get in bigger trouble and they have to pay a lot more money. So, yeah.
Of course. When you go to the doctor, can you just watch on YouTube and you medicate yourself, or you need to someone who...
Some people do that. Okay, if you want to do that, it's up to you. If you're thinking about relocating your business or setting up your base in Cyprus, FinHub makes it simple. We connect you with Cyprus's most trusted tax advisors, lawyers, accountants, and immigration professionals, all vetted and ready to support your move. Just go to www.finhub.com.cy, fill out a quick form, and within 48 hours, we'll match you with the right expert without any guesswork or wasted time from your side. That's what we do at FinHub, smart relocation done right. So let's get more practical now. If somebody wants to legally relocate to either Cyprus or Dubai, whether they're from within the EU or outside the EU, how do they get the legal residency? There are different schemes. Can you go more into that?
Let's start with Cyprus. Mm-hmm. If someone is a European, then it's a very seamless process because they only need to get a yellow slip from professionals here in Cyprus. If, however, they are from a third country, and the third country means they are non-Europeans. They could be from Canada, they could be from Israel, they could be from India. Then they need to apply for a specific visa. This could either be obtained by a permanent residency visa, by a digital nomad visa, by a key people, key Salesforce visa, or by a BCS visa. These visas I've just mentioned. These are open programs which enable a third country national to come in Cyprus and work and be legal here in Cyprus. If you're a European, it's easy. You come to Cyprus, you find a regulated tax expert, you tell them that you need to obtain the yellow slip. It's something that takes a few days. You need an appointment, of course. You go there just for 10-15 minutes. The examiner will see you and they will grant you the yellow slip. I would say the yellow slip takes a month, not more. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to go to the UAE, of course, and you are not a UAE citizen, you can be able to go there and work by obtaining your visas. And to obtain a visa there, you need to have a company and be a director of that company, or you can obtain a golden visa, which is by investment. The golden visa at the time of this podcast requires an investment of more than $500,000 if you're a young person, and more than 300,000 of US dollars if you're someone who is more than 55 years old. And it enables you to enter and leave and exit UAE without any issues. These visas for the companies are very fast. Usually it takes 3 to 4 days, but the whole process of creating the company and getting your visa, I would say, is 10 working days. Within these 10 working days, or maybe it could be 12 days, you need to also physically visit the UAE to do some medical tests, and that includes taking some blood sample, checking your eyesight, and of course checking your skin. All our clients and all the entrepreneurs who are visiting the UAE, they pay for the VIP service, which makes this whole process be a 15-minute thing. So you spend 15 minutes, you go from one room to the other, you have a doctor who checks your eyesight, you have a doctor who takes a blood, and of course you have someone who checks your skin. And that's it. Within 2-3 working days, then your UAE ID is issued. Now, as far as the golden visa is concerned, the time frames, I would say, is less than 6 months for it to be issued. And of course, you need to find yourself beforehand the property of your preference and outsource this task to a service provider who will do all the application pack and submit it for you. Always, Pavlina, when we talk about how long it takes in all aspects, whether it's a corporate incorporation of a company or whether it's obtaining a visa, is from the time of the application, of the submission of the application. Because gathering of paperwork depends largely on the ability of the client to be fast, organized, and have everything together. Okay, so that part alone could be a couple of months. But Dubai, since we're comparing countries, Dubai is faster than Cyprus.
Okay,
it's
in
faster
giving a visa.
In everything. It's faster in creating companies, it's faster in having bank accounts open, it's faster in issuing golden visas versus the permanent residency or versus any other visas for third countries that I've mentioned. Dubai, generally, is fast. And maybe something I would like to share with our audience. The ruler of Dubai said there is an expression or a joke. He said, when a gazette wakes up in the morning, its primary focus is to outrun the lion. And when the lion in the jungle wakes up every morning, its main focus is to be fast enough so that it can reach the gazette and eat it. And the ruler says, in Dubai, I don't care whether you are a lion or a gazette, when you wake up in the morning, you need to be fast and run. So everything is fast in Dubai.
It's an energy as well. So if you prefer that energy, like especially you're younger, you're full of energy, you want to work hard, grow.
But everything comes from the top. If the chief of the emirate wants the emirate to be fast, then it filters down the requirements and the expectations of all the departments.
Yes, I guess everything started from that ruler,
of course,
that person with the vision, and it's an excellent and very inspiring example for the entire world.
Of course.
In Cyprus, we have a different culture that a lot of people love because they have been working hard all their lives, or they don't like this super fast-paced lifestyle.
Correct.
They want the more relaxed Mediterranean quality of life, the nature.
Yes.
And
unfortunately, this is captured in our civil service, and that's why Dubai is faster.
And in our rulers as well, they are all like a little bit more,
so
relaxed.
Our presidents within 5 years, they might achieve something that the ruler of Dubai can do in 5 days or in a week, let's say.
Apologies to the presidents,
but this is the reality,
true.
Of course.
We need to change our pace if we want to achieve things.
We need to run Cyprus as a business and not as a country.
Okay, so let's go into cost of business setup, costs and cost of living, Cyprus versus Dubai, because this is very different. We see that Dubai, yes, might be cheaper in certain things or faster, but the cost of living is significantly higher. Cyprus, all the other cities except Limassol, significantly lower cost of living and different quality of life than Dubai. Limassol is now being called even the Dubai of the Mediterranean, which I think we should get into a little bit because the cost of living in Limassol is very different than the cost of living in Nicosia, which is just 50 minutes away, and the cost of living in Paphos. So let's get into the cost first, company setup, and then the cost of living.
Again, Dubai is always more expensive than Cyprus, simply because things there, the living costs are higher, of course, and that implies that whatever you do there, whether setting up a company, whether renting a flat, or whether sending your kids to school, is going to be more expensive than Cyprus. So in Cyprus, the cost of setting up a company, I would expect it to be 2,000 to 2,500 euros with the exception if some major changes are required in the way you want the company to be run, and you will hire a lawyer who will make changes to the memorandums and articles of association. But assuming that everything is fixed and you don't need something complicated, that's the cost for Cyprus. On the other hand, the free zones in Dubai could be as much as 10,000 to as much as 15,000 US dollars for you to set up. And the majority of these fees are, of course, government expenses. So by virtue, the government in Dubai or in the UAE, the Emirate wants 7 or 8 or maybe 9,000 or maybe 5, it depends on which free zone, of US dollars to be paid to themselves. So these are not service fees, these are disbursements that your service provider will need to pay for the incorporation of your free zone in the UAE. Now let's talk about office rental space. In Cyprus, the office rent is between, I would say, for a small 30 to 50 square meter office from 500 euros to 1,000, whilst this in the UAE could be between 2,500 up to 3,500 or 5,000.
Of course, if you go to a luxury building in Limassol you want to be like in a really beautiful tower and have this vibe, of course, people are willing to pay more. But I know a lot of companies that are renting entire buildings in Limassol, not exactly on the beach.
This comparison does not take into consideration the high end. We're talking about medium end and low end because it's pointless discussing high end because the high end could be anything. Okay, so we're talking about the bare minimum up to something okay for someone to go and work. We're not talking about luxury because everything changes. The visas are part of the application process of the company. That's why it costs 15,000 or 12,000 to acquire a company, because you're also required to pay for the visa. Whilst if you are moving to Cyprus, the cost of a visa, if you are a third country national, would be 3,000 up to 5,000, but it's something totally different. It's not, because if you're a European, that cost does not affect you at all. So the visa payment, it has to do with your personal circumstances, but in the UAE and in Dubai, everyone requires a visa, so it's embedded in the cost of the company. Whilst in Cyprus, if you're a European, you don't need that. What else shall we discuss, Pavlina? What other costs?
The cost of renting an apartment and buying an apartment is significant. The schooling. Private schools, because if you're coming from abroad, usually you need a private school, English speaking, for your kids, and healthcare.
Of course. Let's start with apartments. An apartment in any city in Cyprus, we're talking about the mid-range and below, could be between 1,000 to 1,500 euros for a 2-bedroom apartment.
Except Limassol. We don't want the people from Limassol in the comments to start
Limassol is the
complaining.
Dubai of Europe.
It's actually very, very high in demand. Everyone knows it. It's not going down. The demand is not going down. There is a rise. They are building heavily in Limassol. And I think anyone who invests in Limassol, they're not going to lose. I don't think it's overpriced. I thought it was overpriced when all of this started, but I see that there's no ceiling right now with the prices yet. At some stage they will stabilize when they build a lot, but they're not going to go down. And I think even if you don't stay in Limassol, it's always going to be a good investment if you buy in Limassol. That's what I realized, because there will always be people coming in and out. It's a very business-oriented city with the seaside.
Okay, but with investments in immovable properties, important to have a specific investment targets, criteria, and
yes,
strategy.
Of course. That's a different story, so maybe we shouldn't discuss that.
So if you're renting something, if you bought a very expensive flat and the rent, how much return you'll be getting is not going to be the same.
Something different, maybe in another episode when we go into properties. So Cyprus.
Nursery. Let's talk about nursery, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I would say 1,000 to 2,500. Cyprus, I will correct you, not 1,500. If you want to go to Limassol for a 2-bedroom, a nice one, you will need 2,500. And then Dubai,
Dubai, of course, is much more. It's going to be from 3,000 up to 8,000. So,
Okay.
But again, Dubai is worth explaining a bit the mechanics of Dubai. Imagine one long line, and that's Dubai. So in Dubai, it depends where you're going to live.
We're on the line.
We are on the line, and within this line, there are amazing things everywhere. So Business Bay, for instance, is good for businesses, but there are lots of golf clubs, there are lots of marinas, there is lots of other areas, the Palm, which are very nice for other reasons. Amazing hotels, amazing restaurants. So, where do you want to live on this long stretch of land? It matters on the rent.
Yes, but I've seen videos that explain that like the younger crowd is on this area and the Russians are on that area, and
Bloomingdale's, yes.
It's like different areas where you have the same type of people.
Yes, but of course, if you're international and you like where the Russians are, which is amazing because it's like everything is brand new and beautiful, it doesn't matter, you will live there. But again, if you're living there, you are way far from the Business Bay, from the Palm, from the golf clubs. So it's tricky. You need to know, you need to have your priorities, and then you select where to stay, and that affects your rent.
Okay. Let's go into schooling and healthcare.
Schooling could start from 500 euros to 800 euros a month in Cyprus. It depends, of course, in which city. We exclude Limassol because Limassol could start from maybe 850 euros to 1,000.
However, there are many Russian schools in Limassol because it's a Russian-oriented city. They have been there for many years, so there you have a little bit more options with regards to the Russian language.
Do you have options? They are packed.
Yes.
So maybe you don't.
Yes.
You have options
on
paper, but the openings and the admissions. Unfortunately, this is what I hear from our clients.
Yes.
There is an issue there.
In all private schools, you need to go and apply in advance. Of course, you need to come to Cyprus in advance, but Nicosia has traditionally a lot of private schools. I'm from Nicosia. I went to private school. It's a very traditional city for excellent private schools. The private schools in Limassol and Bafos and Larnaca and other cities, they are quite new.
Yes.
And there are not so many, and there is very high demand because so many people are relocating in those cities. They are seaside cities. So yeah, you need to look into the demand as well. And schools are opening all the time, but do you know the quality if you go to a new school?
How long are they sustainable?
Yeah, in Nicosia, some of these private schools that I've been to, they've been there for
125
50,
years. 125 years, the English school.
Yes.
This year is the 125th year.
Yes, so...
in Dubai, on the other hand, there is a big choice. Many English schools, because let's not forget 4 or 5 million expats are living there. So obviously these people have families and they need schools, private schools to cater them. And the fees?
Higher.
Higher, of course, but I would expect them to be higher. I would say they're between 15,000 and 25,000 per annum.
Per child.
Yes. And that does not include the admissions and these extra charges that all schools here in Cyprus and in Dubai charge.
The other day, I read an article from British media. You know, they're a little bit gossip media. They like to focus on sensationalism. But they were doing a story about this man that relocated to Dubai with his family, wife and kids. And he said, I did not realize how expensive it would be to entertain my family in the weekends and how expensive it is to live here with kids. I thought something different before I moved, but I didn't count in all the expenses. So that's something important to consider because in Cyprus, especially living seaside, but even in Nicosia, it's very cheap to entertain the family in the weekends. Very cheap. And you can just go to the beach and have a sandwich.
Nicosia has the most amazing parks of Cyprus.
Lots of parks for the kids.
Amazing parks with lakes
farms,
and stuff.
Lakes, animals, and then seaside, you can take the kids to the beach and they can have a watermelon and some fries and
half an hour drive is nothing. 1 hour drive to the most amazing beaches.
Some ice cream and they will be happy.
Of course.
And €2 for the sunbed and another €2 for the umbrella.
Yes.
So
versus Dubai sunbeds, which are very expensive.
Yeah. How much are the sunbeds in Dubai?
Well, a few years ago, I think they were US dollars 20. Now I think they're much higher, and it depends on which hotel.
Okay, so in Cyprus, keep in mind that we have a law and they cannot charge you more than €2 on the beach.
€2.5.
€2.5, okay.
For the sunbed, €2.5 for the umbrella. And if you want more sunbeds, it's multiplied by 2.5 euros.
And this is everywhere unless you go inside a 5-star resort and they have their own sunbeds more.
And some of them are
closer to the hotel. So they're not allowed to close the beach. You can still put your towel on the beach.
I'm very proud of this law, actually, and it's important to say the good things.
It's very important because even in Greece, they don't have this law. And some entrepreneurs and beach parks, they close the beach, and then you have to pay €100 for the sunbed, including 2 drinks or something like that. And it's ridiculous. And the Greeks who live in that area, they can't even go and enjoy the beach anymore. But in Cyprus, if you don't want to take the sunbed in the 5-star hotel that they have, maybe more expensive,
you can sit in front of it. The beach belongs to you as well. Equally,
towel, bring your watermelon.
But
and
this
your
is
fruits.
fair because the land of the island belongs to everyone. The seaside belongs to everyone.
That's why we have this thing in Cyprus. The Cypriots, we say that this island is something that you can have such a beautiful quality of life for free. Really, if you don't want the super luxuries and you still feel luxurious because these beaches are so clean and so beautiful, and the fresh fruit and the food and everything is high quality.
We cannot compare, since we're comparing, we cannot compare the ocean of Dubai to the beautiful Mediterranean sandy beaches that Cyprus has to offer, which are awarded, most of them. So again, if you are a seaside person, it's easy. The decision is easy.
I guess if you live in Cyprus and Greece, I haven't swum in many other European countries. But
Greece waters are freezing cold. It's worth mentioning this.
Okay, even not everywhere. I've been to many places in Greece and it's amazing. But if you start moving towards Middle East and even Asia and you compare, when I go to Asia, I cannot enter the water in Bali.
Warm.
Not warm. No. It's full of trash. And then the trash come out in the morning. They pull out the trash. You see mountains of trash. Like it looks beautiful in the photos, but then it's full of trash. And me, as a Cypriot, I cannot even, a Mediterranean person, I cannot step my foot in that water. I really wanted to test the water in the beginning when I landed the first time. And then I'm like, wow.
No, you cannot compare them.
What is this? And I hear that this happens in Thailand as well. Like anyone who goes from Cyprus and then they see the actual quality of the water, they're shocked. The same when I went to the US, the same in Dubai. It's very different. So if you're a beach person, okay. So you can just, go with the scooter in Dubai with a jet ski, I guess.
You could.
Without entering the water.
Cyprus has many jet skis as well. Let's talk about the healthcare system because we haven't touched on it. In Cyprus, whoever works or receives income, they are required to pay. In Cyprus, whoever receives income, whether it's dividends, salary, or interest, they are required to pay NHS, National Healthcare System tax, which is what we call here in Cyprus the YESI. So with a contribution of only 2 or 3% of your total income, you are eligible to free medical health care. And it's something, again, that we need to say that we are proud of because it works. You go there, maybe they will delay you for a week or a few days, but you go there, you might pay €2, you might pay €5 or €10, and you can get yourself checked, unless you need something very specific and a very expensive operation where I think you pay a bit more.
Yes.
Yes.
I did have some health issues the past few years and I did operations and I got excellent doctors because YESI was launched around 5 years ago.
Yes.
And in the beginning, it wasn't so good, but then all the top clinics and the top doctors, they were forced to join.
They are all millionaires now.
I received much better service for free. Like you pay only €150 a year, some fees, and then everything else, complicated operations, everything else is free unless, of course, you need some, like my mother usually needs some extra medication.
Which
some
you can find
injectables.
outside from...
Yes, some injectables in the knees and this kind of things that she pays extra for is not included in ESC.
Okay.
So I hear it with people who have more serious health issues.
That's what I've mentioned, yes.
Because Knockwoods,
Of
we don't have anything too serious. But I think I'm so happy and so grateful for ESC because comparing
it works.
from before, and I see my parents as well having minor operations and all these things, and it's so seamless, and you can go to different doctors and choose the one that you like best.
And just to make a joke, initially when ESC was created, all the elderly of Cyprus were going there every week, every other month. They were checking all their blood tests, they were taking all the exams, they did all the tests
because
for
everything
free.
is for free.
So you couldn't, if you had a serious problem, you couldn't go because you could see all the elderly doing all their checkups.
That was the first few months, the first year. Everyone was running to do their tests that they haven't done for 5-10 years.
But now this is...
it's okay now.
Now it's monitored, so you cannot exploit the system. Contrary to Dubai, which does not offer something like that. So if you need medical care, it has to be private and you need to pay a lot of money for it. I don't know. I don't know how much you need to pay because it depends from the clinic and the expertise, I guess, and what you cover and what you want in your insurance to cover you. But something expensive.
Average cost of the health insurance?
I think it's a monthly fee. Of course, it starts from $300 and it could be up to $800. It depends
in
what
Cyprus,
you want
can get really good private insurance. Let's say you don't work in Cyprus and you need private insurance for €150.
It depends,
really
of course,
high quality.
when you will do these contracts, because the older you are, the more expensive this contract. So that's we cannot talk about how much this costs because it's a very customizable offering.
Okay, great. So let's go into my favorite topic, which is the actual lifestyle that you would expect in Cyprus and Dubai. I want to start as a Greek Mediterranean person. That's we have the whole beauty and nature of the Mediterranean here. We have the beach, we have mountains, we have everything, so many options. I love nature. I cannot live in very dry cities without nature. So that's one thing. If you want this more healthy lifestyle, the fresh air. I also want to mention that we are Christians. We are Orthodox Christians in Cyprus, and we respect all religions, of course. But if you are concerned about the religion and you want to be in this kind of culture, we are very religious in Cyprus. We love the church. We love having our customs in Christmas, Easter.
Which is something that people who are not Cypriot really admire and like. Is worth mentioning.
Yeah, with regards to Russians and a lot of Russian-speaking countries, they're also Orthodox, a lot of them. So
the British love these customs, of course. Our Easter, our Christmas.
This year, the Eastern aligned. So the British, we had the same dates.
Lots of British.
Yes, so we had Easter at exactly the same time. So and it's a more European climate. Europeans feel comfortable with each other because even though we're hugely different in cultures, we're so unique. We have so many similarities. You have the euro as well. If you are a European, you don't need to change the currency.
We have family ties. We are organizing trips with the family. The Cypriots love to go to excursions on the weekends, and this is something that all our expats are doing as well. Cyprus over the last 10 years has many themes and many things to do: adventure parks, hiking, cycling, swimming, organized activities like this. We have Limassol, Paphos, which they have water parks. We have the zoos. So it's a normal country. It's a big island. Because we're comparing.
It's a big island. It's different. So, for example, if you want really relaxed lifestyle, it's not beautiful nature, you go to Paphos and it's super relaxed. Limassol might trigger you a bit now with more traffic, more high-rise buildings.
Yes.
But it's still not Dubai. You still have the nature and you can really relax.
So Cyprus should not confuse you that it's something like a Greek island, which is small and has few inhabitants, and you will get bored after a week or 5 days of being there. It's a huge island. Unfortunately, it's divided, but still it's a big island. And
two amazing airports, modern airports.
Of course. It has 4 cities, big cities, and lots of things to do.
On the free European side of the island, we're going to do maybe another episode to mention about that as well, the occupied side.
So you will not get bored in Cyprus. You need a car to move around in Cyprus. It's not very expensive. The living costs are not very expensive, especially if you move away from the cities and you go somewhere more remote. Everything drops 30 or 40%. So your rental could be low. Your living expenses, eating, drinking, or what have you, could be as much as 40% lower.
You talked about food.
Yes.
And the food in Cyprus is so fresh and, Mediterranean.
Meat and salads.
Meat and salads, fish.
I
don't eat meat, so
lots
for
of
me,
sweets,
Cyprus, yes. But the food is fresh. It's not this industrialized hotel food, frozen things that you find in bigger cities.
In other parts of the world.
Yes, for me it's important, the quality of the foods. And really, when I go to places where the food is not fresh, I can understand it. There's a different taste in my mouth. I cannot taste the food. So if you're like me, you love wellness and a more relaxed lifestyle and mental wellness.
Everything is in English.
Yeah.
Simple to navigate, simple to move around.
We're an ex-British colony, so the British also feel very comfortable here because we are set up on the British system or legal system.
The driving is the same.
You feel more like home as a Brit and as a European, I guess, than you feel in the Middle East. But we have a lot of Middle Eastern people, a lot of Lebanese move here, Syrians, Iran, Persians, Israelis.
For holidays, we have people from all over the world.
And they feel amazing because we are in a strategic location between Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So we have something in our culture from all these cultures. So everyone who comes here, they feel comfortable. And traditionally, we're a very welcome island as well to all religions. So I guess that's the lifestyle of Cyprus. I don't know if you want to add anything before we go to Dubai.
It's not fast-paced, as we've mentioned earlier on. Businesses are happy to service international people, and they thrive and aim to service international clients because the local market is more. So for a local business to grow, it requires more clients. Or where you're going to find more clients?
To put it more simply, we were always a tourism destination. So as Cypriots, we're also very hospitable, like the Greeks. We have the hospitality in our blood.
We used to be much more hospitable, but since the times have changed.
But it's not like some other countries where, let's say, you go to France and they don't want to speak English to you and they're rude.
That has changed as well.
Okay, I've had this experience when I landed the first time in France. Now I see it on social media. And as a Cypriot, I'm like, okay, when you're a young Cypriot and you start traveling, you get a bit shocked.
You get pissed off with them as well.
When somebody is rude to you, because we are so friendly and welcome to everyone.
The civil service, the civil servant sector, the way the registrar of companies works, the way the income tax office works, the way the VAT works, the way the immigration department works, the way the Ministry of Finance works with regards corporate matters is not ideal and as fast as you would expect. Dubai is faster, but it doesn't mean that it's ridiculously slow. I mean, I even got used to it because we have operations and we're dealing with so many other countries, and we see how fast the UK is, for instance, how fast Belgium is, how fast Germany is, how fast Dubai is. It's not that we're tragic. We want to be faster. I don't know if it's achievable, but it's worth mentioning that things take a bit of time to be implemented. Even on YouTube, they are laughing at us and they are using the word siga siga. It's a common, everyone knows it now.
Slowly.
But It's fine. It's not ridiculous slow. It's fine. It's fine. It's not the fastest. It's not the slowest.
I guess we're changing.
Slowly,
we're changing.
Yes, slowly, we are changing.
Yes.
So our children will live a very fast
because
cycle.
all these people who come to Cyprus, they also bring part of their culture
and their energy and their rhythm.
And they also force us a bit to upgrade things.
Dubai now. Let's talk about Dubai. Dubai. Okay, things are different in Dubai because let's not forget that Dubai is a desert. So your main activities are in closed rooms. Personally, I don't mind it because I've been living here most of my life. So now that I'm there so often, it's something different for me. But I don't know if someone will be happy living there and changing one hotel to the other to go and play tennis or to go and go to the swimming pool.
It's as if you live in a hotel, let's say. Unless, I have some friends who have bought villas, by the beach.
It's still indoors. It's an indoors lifestyle. So this is very important. Of course, you can go to the beach. The beaches are fine. The water is not warm, so you can enjoy yourself. And there are amazing beach bars. And of course, amazing rooftops and amazing pools. For partying, it's amazing. Now, a family is a bit more restricted, but there are many communities, many villa houses with common playgrounds where kids can play, especially up to the month of May, because it's not so hot. So it is fine. It's a matter of whether you like it or not. Of course, if you're going to relocate there, you need to have a car. Definitely, you need to have a car. Your car is going to cost you much less because you're not going to pay any taxes. They don't have import taxes, I believe. But the distances are big. So you commute a lot. The motorways are amazing. Everyone runs. There are rarely traffic jams or rarely accidents. People do go to the beach during the summer time. And of course, it's great for business because the majority of people there are there for one purpose.
There's a lot more events, networking. I mean, we do have great events in Cyprus, but the networking there, for some industries, it's on a different level from what I hear.
But everyone wants to network there because nobody knows anyone there. So the only way to meet people and do business is to find a way.
However, it's also expensive to network and go to these events. You need a budget. So I would say, like, my perception of my friends who are doing well in Dubai, even Greek friends, is that they move there when they are already millionaires. They move there for a reason, especially with the family and kids. They have already made their money. And because they have a lot of money, they are able to travel back to Greece, let's say, often and change the vibe and not be in that city situation all the time. And they travel a lot for work, so they don't get stuck in one location. So if you are wealthy already and you go there for a specific reason, then you can travel a lot and not,
Dubai
feel
could be
trapped.
A trap for people who want to make it, but they don't quite make it because everything is so expensive. You won't be able to enjoy yourself and you will feel that you're constantly paying for everything. Wise, as you correctly said, if you do make it, and if you're a millionaire, for instance, multi-millionaire, we're not talking about 1 million or 2 million, so we need a bit more, 5 and more, then you don't feel this because it's okay. You're paying, but you can afford it.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Personally, I felt it when I was making measurements to go to some events, and I was invited even to speak, but I thought, let me stay for 2 weeks and go to some other events, and then you need the extra hotel, and then you need the fees.
Budget, of course.
And then, of course, you need to think about how to dress in these events, and you're expected to, as a lady or even as a man, to have a certain watch or a certain bag, certain clothes, certain jewelry.
Image is important.
Image is very important in Dubai. You feel the pressure. It is important in Cyprus as well, but it's not so much. I mean, seaside cities, you see people walking around in...
The millionaires don't care about image.
Flip-flops and make fun of it a bit as well. It's like the new rich in Cyprus who show off too much,
or
even the Russians
and
the wannabes. The rest, the millionaires that I know, you can't even tell. They're very
with flip-flops and
simple.
shorts.
Yes, even when they go to the office. But in Dubai, you are expected to have a certain look and to wear certain things to be taken seriously.
The benchmark and the average of a young professional or of a professional is someone who is very well dressed, very well spoken.
Yeah.
So you cannot, you won't fit if you go, that's how it is.
For me, it's a little bit fake. And also, as a woman on my own, I think about it twice. I don't feel so comfortable. If you are married, I guess it's okay and you're part of that system. But I hear that dating as well, there is a little bit different. They have rules with how you show up in public, and if you live with somebody, I don't know exactly the rules, but you can even get in trouble. So it's things you need to consider, especially as a woman talking to women. It's things that go through my mind when I travel in these
However,
countries.
it's the safest country in the world.
Yes. I heard that as well.
No, it's true.
I have some
true.
question marks how comfortable I would feel there as a woman. As a woman, if I go on my own to live there, not as a guest in a beautiful event, which I love to be invited as a speaker because you are treated very differently. You are picked up from the hotel, you go to certain events. They treat you as a VIP. For that, yes, but to take my bag as a woman on my own to go live in Dubai, it's a little bit different how I see it now.
From my experience, and it's a remarkable thing, in Dubai, it's up to you if you want to lock your door. Mm-hmm. You are not required to lock your door. You are not required to take your wallet or your laptop or your keys from the table. If you leave the table and you will return back in 10, 15, in 1 hour.
Yes, I've seen that and it's impressive. And it's happening because of the laws, because you can get in real trouble, get arrested.
The main difference and the beautiful thing about Dubai is that they apply the law. Unlike Europe or Cyprus, that we have all the laws in the world, but nobody applies it. In Dubai and in the UAE, the laws are applied. So if there is a punishment for a specific crime, you will get it.
Let's mention that Cyprus was like that 15 years ago without laws, because as part of our culture, we did not steal. Everyone had the keys on the door. But as things change and we have a lot more foreigners moving to Cyprus.
Not professionals. We are talking about immigrants.
Yes, certain immigrants, things have changed. But it's still quite safe.
Definitely.
I would say, except Limassol, because let's say...
Pavlina doesn't really like Limassol.
No, I've had things getting stolen from my bag in the gym in Limassol, if I just leave it there, in a very high-end gym many times.
Wow.
But in Nicosia, I forget things at the gym. I can forget the entire bag. I can leave. Nobody will touch it. Paphos the same. I forgot phones in the gym. In Limassol, things tend to disappear. I don't know why, because it's a more expensive city as well, but it's changing. Still, quite safe. Cyprus is quite safe.
It's a very safe place.
Yes. But we are more wary now.
The people who perform these thefts and robberies, there aren't robberies, these little petty thefts, are unfortunately primarily immigrants or people who come from other countries and they cannot make a living and they try to live. Mm-hmm. It's not...
So you need to be careful in certain areas.
But it's not that they're stealing many things, jewelry or what have you. It's rare. Mm-hmm. Usually they are petty thefts just to make a living.
Okay.
What else about Dubai, Pavlina?
For those people who have big businesses and big plans for their business and they're concerned about long-term stability, compliance, banking, innovation, how do we compare? I know with regards to innovation and startups, we still nowhere close to Dubai.
Dubai is a winner because the government wants to help.
Yeah.
It all comes from the ruler.
Yeah, I've seen a certain visa that if you are super talented, you can
Of course.
get a visa and go straight into Dubai. And if somebody from the Cyprus government is listening to us now, we should do something similar to attract talent, even though we do have some laws benefiting tech startups and IT.
We do. But as you correctly said, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. If some other jurisdictions have the winning recipes, we should just copy them and be as competitive as them.
Yeah, Cyprus government officials go to Dubai website where they have the visas and see what
or
they do.
Or to some of the free zones and see how fast companies are incorporated.
Yeah, and they are looking to attract talent by actually giving them incentives to move to Dubai, and it's lovely. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. So anything else around this compliance and long-term?
Of course, you would expect, as mentioned earlier on, Dubai is not in the blacklist anymore, which means that they are compliant with many regulations and directives with regards to the AML, transparency, OECD requirements, and what have you. As a result, banking is not as easy as it used to be. Mm-hmm. So the banks are scrutinizing who will be the UBO, what will be the purpose of the bank account, as they do in Cyprus. Over and above, there are laws, filing requirements for the companies, there are VAT returns, company taxation is enforced, submission of the financial records of the company to the registrar. All these are for transparency purposes. Mm-hmm. There is a perception that Dubai, there was, I believe, a perception, I don't think this exists anymore, that Dubai was very open to everyone, whoever could come, they could deposit large sums of money in the banks. This is not the case anymore. Things are getting regulated properly. Things are getting scrutinized. And a very good example is that, contrary to Cyprus, if your bank will receive money, they need to know what kind of money this is. So the person who is paying you, they need to put the category of the type of service you've performed or good, so that the bank will know that you received 200,000 for the provision of, let's say, marketing services, as per your license, as per the allowable activities of your company. Mm-hmm. So everything there is organized, streamlined, and scrutinized in a good manner. When I'm saying scrutinized, not by the authorities to tax you or anything, by the different departments, so that what has been stated is applied. It has to do with the laws and the culture of the UAE. Mm-hmm. They apply the laws. Mm-hmm. They don't write them just to write them. Mm-hmm. And you can feel it throughout.
Okay. Well, I would say the way I see it, Dubai is more of a launchpad for something big, and Cyprus is more of a stable base regulated within the EU for long-term, having a family, having a life, but still, Dubai has this energy of growth.
Of course.
And the legislations and everything to enable growth. So I guess it's a personal decision. But I want to bust some myths, because there are things that people say, for example, Dubai, if you move there is zero tax, or Cyprus is too small, you cannot really grow a business in Dubai. These are old myths and things have changed. So what would you say are the biggest myths and surprises that you might find that you thought otherwise, but then you see it's not like that?
To our experience, Dubai is very expensive. And this is important because it touches the corporation tax aspect. So even if you are a nano business and you don't pay the 9%, or maybe you are exceeding the threshold and your services are exempted from tax, just having a meal somewhere is costing you a lot of money. How many meals do you have in a day? How many outings you have? How much does it cost you to rent your flat? How much it costs you to meet and greet a client? All these are, even if Dubai was not taxing you at all, these are embedded costs for you to run a business. So it's a myth that, the 9% is not just 9%. Mm-hmm. If you add all these high expenses, the effective corporation tax could be 15-20% or even more. Mm-hmm. Another issue that I've seen is, of course, that Dubai is progressive, contrary to Cyprus, as you said, but I'm not concerned about it because they have the right intentions and they know what they're doing. So it's progressive.
They want to grow in a certain way, so they make changes all the time.
So they are making changes, but they are good changes.
In a certain direction. Yes. I would say the biggest myth for Cyprus, which used to be true, but is not true anymore, it's that it's too small and outdated.
No, that's wrong.
And that you cannot grow in Cyprus like you grow in Dubai, especially for certain industries that have a strong base in Cyprus. It's like the ideal location. And even for startups, because you not only have Cyprus and the EU system and the EU funding as well, you have access to the entire European Union from Cyprus.
And Cyprus has the IP box regime, which is only 2.5% corporation tax, coupled with 0% dividend tax, and low running expenses, contrary to Dubai where everything is expensive. You can run literally like a tax-free operation for peanuts. Okay. If you are a tech guy, an entrepreneur who wants to create a patent, a program, a software. So there are many tax benefits. We can have a podcast to analyze them all. I think it's a good topic. Later on, Pavlina, maybe we can do a podcast just on this.
All the tax benefits of Cyprus for
and
different...
compare them to other countries maybe. To competitors of Cyprus, maybe with Malta and Dubai.
That would be great. Okay, so last...
Another thing that I've noticed, which I haven't tapped on, banking. I believe the online banking in Cyprus is much better than in Dubai. This is our experience so far. So something to cheer Cyprus for. We've come across many delays with the banking applications, setting up of banking payees, setting up standing orders. So in Dubai, you really need to know to which bank to go. That's why you need the local expertise or an audit and assurance firm, which is regulated there, to advise you which are the correct banks. Contrary to Cyprus, where the banking benchmark is very high. All the online banking systems of all the banks here is amazing, seamless. All the telephony support is amazing. In Dubai, it's amazing as well. But the actual processing and using and feel of the mobile application of the banks and the actual online banking, I think Cyprus is much better.
Great. So as we come to the end, final thoughts. Cyprus is for anyone who doesn't just want to build a business, they want to build a quality of life, legacy, and they want an EU base. So we attract a lot of Europeans, Germans, Scandinavians.
Because the cultures are a bit more similar. They are
similar, it's easier.
The lifestyle is what a European would expect.
Yes, and a lot of British. What can you say about Dubai?
Dubai is a place to make money if you can support this argument. So if you're coming from a background which can fit perfectly in Dubai, if you want to meet high net worth individuals or ultra high net worth individuals, then Dubai is for you. If you're a person who is traveling often and you won't be staying there for 365 days and you will be traveling the rest of Europe and you want a good base, Dubai,
especially if you're traveling to Asia and you're doing business in Asia, it's excellent location. You wouldn't be in Cyprus.
If you're raising a family though, or if you're a family man, okay, things are becoming a bit more expensive, a lot more expensive. Nutrition alone is very expensive, not to mention the nurturing. But that's why we said earlier in the podcast, Pavlina, that you need to be a millionaire of a certain level so that you don't care about.
Of course, you can go there to make it. It's like when people used to go to New York to make it. It's the new New York, actually, and it's excellent.
But if it's not progressing for whichever reason, it's a shame. There are other options and other jurisdictions where you can make the most out of your money. Because every day that you wake up there, the living costs are 3 times or 4 times the costs of other countries.
Okay, so let us know what you think. If you have been to both countries, or if you're in Dubai and you're happy, unhappy, Cyprus, you're happy, unhappy. Let us know in the comments.
Also, let us know
your
about
thoughts.
the drawbacks that you have encountered in Cyprus, how you think Cyprus can improve, as well as Dubai. Maybe we can influence a bit here. The Cyprus matters that you raise, we can have a podcast just about it and have special guests.
In Cyprus, we can have some influence with our voice.
Yes. And with the guests that we can invite to our podcast. In the UAE, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do.
Later on, maybe we can create some influence there. But yes, again, through speaking, we have a voice and we can create influence. Thank you very much, Kyriakos.
It was a lovely podcast. It's always nice comparing jurisdictions and financial centers between them, because our audience needs to know the details and make an informed decision on which is best for them.
If you're serious about relocating your business, your tax base, and your life to Cyprus legally and smoothly, don't guess your way through it. Go to finhub.com.cy, answer a few short questions, and we'll match you with a vetted Cyprus-based expert within 48 hours. If you want to stay updated on the latest trends on wealth management, relocation, running a business, accounting, tax, legal markets, don't miss out on next week's episode. It's all about how to build wealth tax-free from Cyprus. Subscribe and turn on notifications to stay informed and connected with top experts. You do not want to miss this. See you in the next episode.